Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Music Show, back with a panel of people. We have Alex tonight, who's gracing us from Cyprus. It's 5 a.m, and he's being a trooper. He decided he wanted to be here. I have no idea why, but he did. So he's here. But I'm glad he's here, because we're going to need him a little later on. And we have George and Matt, and we have Howie. Well, Jersey Howie. No. Howie Darkstar. We're just going to call you Howie Darkstar, but we're going to stick with Boston John, and we're going to go Pastor J. We're just going to do it like that.
Yeah. Cool.
So do you guys want to do the record roundup now, or do you want to do it like we did last time where we waited till the end?
Your call. For anything. Your call.
We can do the record roundup.
I did that last. Oh, okay. Yeah.
We can do the record roundup. That's fine. John, do you have something special for us?
I do.
Where's our music?
We don't have music anymore.
Yeah, couldn't get the licensing.
Make your own kind of music.
Copyright issue.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Today I brought a throwback. I did a lot of dance the last couple of weeks, so I wanted to go back to the rock for one. So I took us back to 1979, and I broke out Pink Floyd's double album set masterpiece.
Oh boy, The Wall.
Awesome.
The Wall. More so to talk about the band than the record. Though I was dragged to this movie when I was probably about 11 or 12.
Me too.
And I didn't know what I was looking at. It was just
Me too.
So much, what is going on here?
I went with my brother. He got it. I didn't.
I was like, a lot of imagery, a lot of deep stuff happening in here, you know?
Yeah.
I came away with, don't brainwash the kids and, be your own individual. And
don't eat your meat. You can't have any pudding.
Can't have any pudding. Don't shave your eyebrows in a hotel room with a TV set. There's all kinds of...
Oh, my God. That freaked me out.
Yeah.
That was tough to watch some parts.
Was that a feel-good film?
No.
I don't know. I'd have to watch it again. I haven't...
Yeah.
Don't take the kids.
40 years. More so about the band than the record. After Sid Barrett's, breakdown, because these guys have been around a while. This isn't like a new band that put this out. This was
like a 15-year-old band at that point, wasn't it? Felt that?
Yeah. Because like the See Emily Play stuff was late 60s, and they kind of reformed. They had just come off, Dark Side of the Moon, which was a huge record. They had a lot of radio, friendly radio.
Dark Side of the Moon was like
73, 72.
Yeah.
It's 73.
Longest charting Billboard record, like probably
forever.
941 weeks.
Ridiculous.
Dude,
so
I find it so sad we actually have to give a background on Pink Floyd.
Some of our viewers are younger.
Everyone understands how effing amazing this group is and how much insane quality music they've produced.
They get a couple of rockers, but most of their stuff's kind of chill. Comfortably now. It's probably got one of the best guitar solos in the world.
Hands down.
That stuff was a little like when I was growing up, I didn't get it. I was more into the rock stuff. I like, Young Lust and Run Like Hell. I was like, now this band can rock when they want to, when they're firing on all cylinders. It was something, but the other stuff, it took me a few years and a few listens. And I'm like, I see there's a time in your life when you need something to calm down, and it makes sense to have a group you like.
John didn't smoke in high school is what he's saying.
I think the most up-tempo song of that album is probably Young Lust, isn't it?
Young Lust. Or Run Like Hell's on it too, which is
Run Like Hell too.
Kind of like a marching anthem. Everything had kind of a marching beat to that. But Floyd continued long after. Roger Waters left, Gilmour carried on, but there's still even some more hits through some later releases. But definitely a band worth checking out. Their catalog is vast and deep, and it's definitely worth taking a trip down the rabbit hole.
Check out Momentary Lapse.
Right.
Dogs of War, Learning to Fly.
See, kids, look at that reaction. Everybody just goes, oh, yeah.
Slip.
We know.
So I leave it to me to be weird. I'm a metal guy. And my favorite Pink Floyd song is One of These Days. That's just... Leave it to me to be the weirdo.
Okay, we know what Brian did in high school.
One of these days, I'm going to cut you into little pieces. Only lyrics in there.
Yeah. What was your take on Animals?
Pardon?
What was your take on the whole Animals thing?
Animals was a good album, but my favorite Pink Floyd song, I got to say, is One of These Days. Like, if you really break it down. The funky one is Money. That's the one you can get away with playing off of Dark Side of the Moon.
With two different time signatures, by the way.
Well, the the legend with animals was that if you played that at home and you had pets, they would go nuts. And I found out that was true because I had cats, and there was inaudible sounds beyond our hearing that animals could hear, and it freaked them out. And it was true.
What about the horses that drew the carriages? Did they flip out too, or no?
No, because the wheels were very good on the carriage.
I'm so hungry. I could eat a wagon wheel.
What do you got, Jay? And please tell us that it's something 80s and guitar, and you're going to go off on a long monologue about it. What do you got?
No, it's neither of those. I'm going 90s.
Okay.
And there's guitar, but it's not the focal point.
Okay.
And I know I'm going to get a big smile from my Boston compatriot over there.
Hey.
We're going to go down a road that we have not gone before. It's not goth, it's not industrial, but it's both of those and more. We're going to the ultimate dark group, in my opinion, for love, and that would be Type O Negative. We're going October Rust. The breakout hit on that one, Love You to Death. From the first time I heard it till 2 days ago when I played the video in the background while I was working, still love that song. They do an amazing cover of Neil Young's Cinnamon Girl.
Oh, yeah.
My girlfriend has a girlfriend. I mean, Type O Negative is really hard to kind of describe. 4-piece out of Brooklyn, started as a real kind of dark metal thrashy band called Carnivore. Not dropping names here, but I will. A friend of mine, Evan Seinfeld from Biohazard, used to roadie for them. So when we first met about 10 years ago, that was a big thing that we got together on, that I mentioned Type O Negative. He goes, "You like Type O Negative? Oh, you got to check out Carnivore. I've never heard of them," kind of thing. But it's Love You to Death is a beautiful song on every level. And, the album's a bit to digest. I'm not going to lie. But you get to learn very quickly. You either like this kind of dark, gothy, industrial, heavy music, or you don't. It's
neither.
Like,
it falls into that category, but it wasn't. It's very tongue in cheek, and they were in on the joke.
Oh kinda. Yeah, no, they didn't take themselves too seriously. It's not KMFDM where you're like, this is what you get, and that's all. It was, we're going to do this thing, but we're not going to take it that seriously. But I mean, everyone I've ever turned on to Love You to Death, or even Christian Woman,
Black Number One,
always walked away going like, I genuinely really like this, and I shouldn't because it doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
So that's my pick for this week, Brian.
Nice.
October Rust.
You or Howie?
Yeah, Howie, what do you got for us?
I'm going rogue tonight. Last week I went 2022, and I'm going to go back to 1976, 77, and 1996. And it's a song called Poor, Poor, Pitiful Me. It's most famously by Linda Ronstadt, but it was written by Warren Zevon the year before. Had a hit with Warren Zevon was a genius. And some guy, country guy, Terry Clark, had a hit 20 years later with it. I didn't even bother because, me and country.
Terry Clark's a she. She's a cute she, too. She's a real she.
Yeah. So
it's easy on the eyes. She's been singing about
it. Next time, check the video.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that song. And Warren Zevon, it's hard for me to pick between Warren Zevon and Linda Ronstadt. If I had to play it out to generate a crowd, I would go with Linda Ronstadt. But for pure enjoyment, Warren Zevon was a freaking animal when he performed. That guy left everything on the stage when he was done. The guy would jump up on his piano and play the keyboards backwards. He'd play with his feet. I mean, he was just an amazing artist and songwriter.
100%.
That's it
100%.
for me.
We'll pick.
All right. So who's going to go first, Alex or Matt? For some reason, I want to save you for last, Alex. I don't know why.
Because he's going to go with Euro Dance.
Maybe. I don't know what he's going to do. Matt, what do you got? You got something for us?
I do have something, and this is based on the news that had come out in recent weeks. By the time this airs here, this goes back to 2001, and this band, I guess, they've had a 27-year run, and now they've announced that they're disbanding. But Sum 41, all killer, no filler.
Yeah,
what? They're breaking up.
Yeah, they're finishing up their tours, their commitments, all of that, and they're calling it a day.
I saw that yesterday.
I don't know any of the rumor mill type reasons. I just saw the official statement on it, and super talented band, and they could. You talked about range, when Jay was talking about Typo Negative there. I mean, the way that. I would probably say with anything with them, maybe they're punk rock, but the way that they can still hit some metal in their songs and just some good hard rock as well. It's like they really could capture it all. So
Fat Lip was the big song. I remember that one. Then they got to play with Metallica, who knew that they actually could play. And
I think they won over fans like me because they were young, and we all looked at it like, oh, they get it. They're a young group. At the time when Fat Lip came out, they were like 19, 20 years old. So they weren't old like a band. And I know a lot of us as metal fans were like, oh, this is kind of cool. These kids get it. Like, okay, I'll support that. It's almost like Airborne from Australia, the 3-piece, who were very young, like 18 to 21 or something, sort of Def Leppard-y.
Yeah, they're sort of like a rock and Silverchair, a little harder. It's like, another
Silverchair was also signatures. Yeah, totally.
But sorry to hear that. And Kix is hanging it up too.
What?
They've been around.
Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah, the last tour, last go around.
Yeah.
I'll call John Jazz. He'll know. He's in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Damn it. What's with this Aerosmith hanging it up?
Aerosmith hanging it up. Yeah.
Crap.
It's the news of the week, and R.I.P. Gordon Lightfoot too.
Yeah. Did you hear that? Motley Crue is on the farewell tour again.
It's still.
Well, they're not really. No, Howie, that's technically incorrect. They're not on the tour. Their tapes are on the tour, but they're actually acting out the parts.
Yeah, the broomstick.
Spooky theater.
Prop them up with
sort of thing now. I saw them open for Ozzy back in 1984, and they killed it. But we're not in 1984 anymore.
I was at Theater of Pain. That's the one I saw.
I saw them on Shout at the Devil tour.
83.
Yeah.
4.
I saw
83.
Boston Garden, open for Ozzy with Jakey Lee.
Yep.
Good time.
Yeah, Shell's Devil.
I would have gone to that show, Jay, but I wasn't allowed out of the house late at night when I was 9.
Her name was Teresa, and I'll leave it there.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Just saying. I had my Brian S. Red moments in the 80s.
Hey,
Alex, let's see what you got.
Chemical Brothers, Orbital.
No, so they say music is art, but I'm actually going to talk about art. I'm going to talk about record covers, and in particular, I'm not going to go about the band because hopefully most people should know about them. If you don't, you can Google them. They're a British band. They are Iron Maiden.
Yes.
I heard of them.
Yes.
Interesting facts about Iron Maiden. All their covers were designed by a British artist called Derek Riggs.
I love that stuff.
He came up with Eddie, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's Eddie right there.
Yeah, and this is Eddie the Head, which he designed, and Eddie appears on all their couple albums, obviously.
That's an amazing album, by the way. Amazing album.
I have that one.
Yeah. Live Power Slave on that is amazing. And
let's see if he's got my favorite. Okay, that's okay.
There you go.
Yeah. And notice none of these have any black stickers about parental advisory lyrics.
No.
It's just the covers that are going to scare your children, not the lyrics.
That's it.
Yeah, maybe
will give you
do
nightmares.
that. Does he have my favorite?
Yeah, it's getting
Although that's one of my favorite albums.
record.
That's got a track called Still Life on it. That's amazing. Way underappreciated song.
Okay, come on. Where is it?
Killers.
Nope, not yet.
Power Slaves.
Not yet, huh?
Not yet. Artistically, I mean,
We're looking for Killers.
There he is.
Yeah,
Yes.
there it is.
There it is.
Killers.
Everybody has that album.
Here, bring it up a little bit so you can see the whole guy.
Which is also featured on the design because Iron Maiden had their own 747.
Mm-hmm.
Their own 747. And Bruce Dickinson, of the band is actually a qualified 747 pilot. So when he went on tour, he would actually literally fly the band around in the aircraft.
That's awesome.
Find a little one there.
That's the one, Killers, right there.
Great one. Yep.
That's Killers. That's the best
I'm
one
sorry.
right
Yeah,
there.
the other one was the first album.
It's mine.
That's
Killers
the
is
one.
Wrathchild. The first one was Rue Morgue.
Everybody talks about music. I'm going to talk about the art. So,
Nice.
if you guys, that are watching this, want to look at something like that's crazy, check out their albums. They've done way more than what I've shown you. But they've got some interesting the background stories. If you read into what they did on tour, it's the kind of band that along with Ozzy Osbourne doing their weird stories of what to do or what not to take when you're on tour, shall I say?
I saw the original Iron Maiden in a museum, an oddball museum in New York City.
With Paul Di'Anno?
Excellent.
No, it's a...
No, I think he means that mummy thing that closes with
the torture device.
Yeah.
Put them in the Iron Maiden. Come on,
No,
you did that
because-
movie back in the 80s?
Well, no, it's funny because Howie actually has a photo he showed me. Him and Jack the Ripper holding a beer up. I don't even know where the camera came from.
That's
It's
true.
like, wow, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we did it. We had a selfie stick on the, on the little fold-out camera.
Here you go.
Speaking of art, the album I picked,
Prince.
the artist who recorded the album also did the artwork on the album. All the artwork. And you can tell. And for once, Jay is actually right. We're going Prince 1999. We're going Prince 1999. We've never done this one.
That's right. We never
One of
did.
the best
Oh,
albums
not
ever.
done.
That is a sweet cover.
The best. Yeah, and he drew this. I'm not an art critic, but this is a fantastic album. It's a double album. Kicks off with 1999, goes into Little Red Corvette, which was a breakout hit for him. This was the song that put him on the map. And then they go into what's it going to from there? Delirious, I believe it goes into there.
Wow.
And yeah, it
First
goes on
three
and on. There's
tracks?
great stuff on here, huh?
Damn. Those are the first three tracks, 99.
I'm pretty confident.
Corvette
1999,
and
Little Red
Delirious?
Corvette and Delirious.
Damn. Talk about
Okay, those are the first three tracks.
A-side, yeah.
Wow.
This album is so good. And
Wow.
it gets better. Side 2, and the only 2 songs on side 2, because they're both long as hell, is Let's Pretend We're Married, which is a great song,
It's a great song.
and DMSR, which stands for Dance Music Sex Romance, which was a huge club hit.
Wow.
And then side 3 is Automatic, which is another great song.
Yes.
Something in the Water does not compute. Not my favorite Prince song, but it ain't bad. Free, not my favorite Prince song. Lady Cab Driver is very cool.
That's a very cool song. Yep.
I actually like this song. All the Critics Love You in New York. And then the last song in here is kind of a cool ballad, if you will. And it's going to be kind of a topical thing for tonight, International Lover. It's a really good song. There's an interesting story.
re-released that as a different version? I asked that because about a week or two ago on Twitch, I played, when I saw the movie Purple Rain,
Okay.
one of the parts that just killed me was when he walks down the basement, and I call him Link from the Mod Squad,
Yeah.
or
Oh,
his father in the
Dad.
movie,
Yeah.
Yeah, the
is
dad.
playing the piano. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. Like, I love this piano piece.
Right.
It's very short.
Yeah.
And then it becomes part of Computer Blue, I believe.
Yeah. Father's song.
Later on,
Yeah.
Father's.
That's the one I played on Twitch, was Father's Song.
Yeah.
And so my question to you is, I know they've redone the Purple Rain album as far as re-releasing on YouTube through the family. Have they done that with 1999?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to
There's
expand
a
on that?
crazy story behind this.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the story.
Yeah, please do.
In the song to remember to keep in your mind is All the Critics Love You in New York. So the story is they're doing all of these New York shows, Prince and the Revolution at the time. And yeah, all the critics just loved him. And all the New York people, the cool people, were going to see the show and going crazy about him. And Mick Jagger goes to the show and sees him. He's like, oh, I love this guy. It's like, I need to have this guy open for me on tour for our Tattoo You album. So they bring him out to New York. and they go to open for the Stones, and they are assaulted with beer bottles and trash, and pretty much
different crowd,
chased off the stage.
Different crowd. Yeah, I could see.
So what does Prince do? He leaves without saying a word, walks out the door, flies home to Minneapolis. Well, they still got another date to play there. So Mick is like begging him to come back. It's like, please come back. Please come back. It's okay. It's nothing you did. You're amazing. You're amazing. He talks him into doing it. He comes back. He does the second show. Similar result. And that's it. And he decided right then, I'm never going to open for anybody again. And he went into this depression because he was on this high from these New York dates that he was doing. Everybody's loved him, to this low of being just assaulted on stage. And then, just was very embarrassing for him. And he went away for like 11 months. Nobody talked to him. Nobody could get a hold of him. Nothing.
Do you remember the venue?
He wrote this album in those 11 months.
Wow.
So this is the result of
emotion.
Yeah, never
Rolling
again.
Stones getting beat up. Now, what you're talking about, Jay, are those new releases that they're doing. They're doing extended versions, and they're finding all of the alternate takes, and they're finding all of the weirdo songs, because he didn't just write this. He wrote, I think, on that edition, there's close to 100 songs on it.
Right.
And it's all from this session. Now, when he was going, now, of course, this album was highly successful. And the deal was, all right, next time release more songs from that album. And he's like, no, I just wrote a whole bunch of new songs, so I'm going to do that and make a movie with it. But that's what was supposed to happen. He didn't have to write Purple Rain. He had all the material here.
Right.
And he held a lot of it back, and there's good stuff on there.
Well, I mean, the family runs the estate now, and the downside is we're in the world of streaming.
Whoever the family is.
And ripping YouTube videos. So it's not, if this was 25 years ago and he died with his catalog intact, you'd see an album a year come out of new Prince material, and he'd be at the top of the charts, like ad nauseum, because,
Maybe.
well, and I say that only because I think there was a fervor and there was a different mentality on how to buy and consume music. Now it's like, so much streaming is going on. And like I've said, repeatedly, I have a 21 and a 17-year-old that own no music, but listen to music constantly. And that's the new business model. So
well, I think
Prince's estate is like, how are we going to make money off releasing unreleased material? There might be an audience that wants to buy the album, but they'll just go to Spotify.
They're buying it. They are buying it. My son-in-law has some of them. I don't have any of them. Not the complete, extended versions anyway. They've done it with Purple Rain. They've done it with 1999. They're planning on doing it like this really crazy one. And I haven't checked back recently, but they're trying to do like this whole Sign of the Times thing, because there was a lot of stuff going on around Sign of the Times, and Sign of the Times was kind of a compilation of mini projects he had going on that were pretty killer. And some of it was with the Revolution.
Right.
Some of it was done during those sessions with Wendy and Lisa when they did Parade. There was a Camille album, and there was something else, and none of this stuff's been seen. Black Album was kind of part of that too.
I have like 7 of those, by the way, if you ever want to.
Yeah, I use them as coasters. Anyway,
a great pick.
I'm telling you, like what we're supposed to be doing with our record roundup is suggesting albums for our viewers to listen to.
Yeah, I think we all did.
You could recommend it higher.
You could play that all the way through. You'll never tire of it.
No. Really I think it's a great album. I brought up, the reason I went with Type O was, you know what? I would say the majority of people in our audience that have checked me out on Twitch, that might be the first time they've ever heard Type O Negative. John has played it. I've played it. It's not an overly played band.
No, I wasn't knocking everyone else's
No,
picks.
I know you weren't, but I'm trying to stay in the same spirit as you are.
Yeah, I was just simply saying that
grow from.
If you're not familiar with this, and the reason I say this is because I think we, like you had said earlier, oh, well, we got to explain to people who Pink Floyd is. This is really a bummer. Dude, I'm watching reaction videos from Gen Z people who are guitar players, who are musicians, who are singers. They don't know this stuff. They're watching. They're watching. That doesn't mean they're not legit. They're just
yes. I've spoken. See, this is
they just don't know it, and they're when they hear it, they love it. It's not like they hear it. It's like, oh, this is old fashioned.
How have I missed this?
Well, they like it.
You played an instrument. Yeah. You, like me, had to sit in my room with headphones on my left ear, off my right ear, and I think that's where it started. In my bedroom, my stereo, the entire unit with like two little, 4, 6, 8-inch speakers at the bottom, turntable over the receiver, one unit, put on the album, sit on my bed with headphones on my left ear, my right ear would hear the speakers, and I would try to learn the song.
Yeah, but I don't know a whole hell of a lot about Jerry and the Pacemakers, I just don't. That happened before I was born.
I remember talking to Peter Noon, who I opened for from Herman and the Hermits.
I don't know a lot about Herman and Hermits.
Well, you know what, though, Brian? If you don't know the past, you're destined to repeat it. So I think in about 6 months, when you come to me with, dude, the Everly Brothers are awesome, I won't be surprised.
Wow.
Yeah. Jay, Brian, have you heard Garden Party yet by Ricky Nielsen? Yeah, I have.
I think that came out after I was born. I know that one.
Oh, you're going to play that card? What are you, John? You playing that freaking card now?
On the radio a lot.
I remember when The Wall came out. I was in the 2nd grade.
Yeah. No, I saw what Dan took me to The Wall. I remember going.
Yeah. Sting was in the movie.
It was freaky.
Sting was in it.
It was just an odd night. I was all excited to go to the movies and have popcorn and stuff, and it was this weird thing.
Have you seen the other musical acts of the day done as a opera? Let's say, i.e., Quadrophenia.
Yeah, like
Tommy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen any of those? Tommy's
I have, but I've also seen like the Bee Gees doing Sgt. Pepper's, which was ridiculous.
Okay, that's really not the one I would have gone to.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that
Peter Frampton and Aerosmith, I probably would have skipped that one.
You know what I came across the other day? It was really weird. They've synced because there was this rumor about Pink Floyd and the Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, yeah. That's been
on
debunked.
YouTube, somebody done it a couple of years ago, whatever, and it's the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon synced with Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And some of it, when the Munchkins start dancing, is a little bit freaky. That's all I'm saying. Because
you're supposed to start on the second roar. The rule I heard was you start on the second roar
after the third roar. I think it was
or third roar.
Which is which, and that's when she shows up. It's like, hey, now wait a second, maybe there is something here.
And by the way, I've seen the David Gilmour interview where they just flat out said, "You know what? Yes, no, or maybe." And he's like, "Absolutely zero."
Yeah.
We didn't know the movie that well. We'd seen it, obviously. It came out once every couple of years at that time.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing to do with it. So I would like to find out who the hell came up with that. Figured it out. That's the person that should be running the music industry today.
It's the same person who was playing Beatles records backwards.
Yeah. I think he runs a mushroom farm.
John is dead. Yeah.
What the hell does that? Well,
your violets and vinyl will need to replace it. Your vinyl needs to
Stop doing that. Your needle's going to break. Stop.
Brought to you by Shure M44 needles. Okay, that makes sense.
Count on. Yeah.
Sure.
Well, turntable for that type of playback.
I've said it in the chat room. I haven't said it here. The famous cheesesteaks in Philadelphia, Pat's and Gino's. And I believe it was Pat's where he died, somewhere in the 80s, 90s, something like that. But in the 70s, there was a rumor he used horse meat to make his sandwiches. So he came
started by Gino.
Well, no, that's the best part. He came out and said publicly, I'll give someone, and this is in the 70s, $100,000 if they can prove I use horse meat. So, of course, people start buying sandwiches left and right, sending them off to get tested, doing this, doing that. Later, way down the road, they speak to his son who took over, and they say, back in the day, that whole rumor thing, it must have really hurt your dad. He's like, what? Well, that whole horse meat thing. He's like, yeah, what do you mean hurt my dad? Well, it must have devastated him. He's working so hard. He gets up early, he goes to work. He doesn't need this flack. And he literally looks at the lady and goes like, who do you think started the rumor? Like that.
Right. We're
Proving the Gene
triple
Simmons.
business. Yeah.
Right. No, any press is good press at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So this week in our remainder time, which is why I wanted to say round up.
Good night, everybody. Oh, sorry.
I wanted to actually talk about an idea that I had and see what you thought of it. And Alex is a really good person to have in the room for this, from our perspective anyway.
Sure.
Fat Boy Slim question?
Yeah, as a matter of fact. So I'll give you a little backstory as to what kind of made me think of this. At the club on Friday, I try to greet people when they come in, and it wasn't a real busy night, but there were people there. And a group came in. I went up, I greeted them, asked if I could play them anything. And they said, well, what do you have for world music? It's okay. What are you looking for? They asked for something. I was like, okay, you not know. Well, yeah, we were just curious. We're Punjabi. And I'm like, oh, say no more. I got you. I got you. So I played Mundian Tubaki and Desi Girl and something else. I don't know what it was. It was something I had for the wedding from Nepal that was just a big hit. And they went nuts, and they were very gracious and thankful, and they tipped me out well, and they left. I guess I didn't give it a second thought until the next day when one of the people who were managing the place said, we don't know anybody else who would have even known what to do. As far as the DJ goes, there's no one else in here who would have even known to do that. But you need to do that. So, that's why you're here. It got me thinking, maybe it would be a really good idea for DJs, and this is for wedding DJs and even club DJs, to have international music crates. And you don't have to have 50 Arabic songs or 50, rancheros or cumbias or whatever. But if you just have half a dozen to a dozen tracks to recognize people, what do you think of that?
Great idea.
Absolutely.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Already doing it.
Wow, look at you, Mr. Ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Wow. Once again.
I have things, but to literally have them lined up. Okay. If somebody said, we're Arabic, play us something, I would be lost.
I actually have some Arabic music from wedding. But that's all. That's the only reason I have it. I don't know what it is. It's very housey.
With Arabic music, you have to define what kind of Arabic music.
Right.
Obviously, it's a bit like saying Irish. Well, are you Northern Irish or are you Irish? Because if you're Irish, there's certain songs, about potato famine, for example, that you don't want to hear, or things about political music. So, with many cultures, you need to, what kind of that exactly?
We had the same thing with.
I'm lucky enough to have done, Arabic weddings of various different nationalities, shall we see, within the Arab community, Indian weddings. Romanian, Bulgarian, Russian. So, by speaking to my clients, what songs do you like, and I basically build up, X amount of songs, that are all requests, things I want. And then obviously from there I can go, oh, well, I've done 5 weddings, for example, of Romanian music, and I played that 5 times.
I think a lot of places, especially in Europe and even Eastern Europe, I think we're all kind of listening to the same thing. Like it's, top 40 music Europe is all kind of listening to the same thing, I believe, for the most part. I understand that every country has their own thing, but everyone's getting the big ones. But when you go to places like maybe Serbia, it's a little different. I know it's different in places in the Punjabi region, India, Nepal. I'm sure it's like Australia, for instance. Of course, they're listening to our music, but because of our friend Scrappa, we know that Nutbush City Limits by Tina Turner is their jam.
Yep.
And we also know that Cold Chisel Keshan is their jam. So maybe we should have those in a little folder that just says Australia. That's all I'm talking about. And I wanted to just see what you guys thought, or how detailed do you really want to go? Do we want to do every country, or do we just kind of want to do, regions? How detailed would you go with this?
Well, I want to ask Alex, how do you create or folder the difference, let's say Arabic, because I've done weddings where they are, and over here where I am in Southern California, the term you hear is Chaldean. And Chaldean is, I believe, Iraq.
Wouldn't that be Persian?
Then I've got,
oh no, Chaldean.
no, that's another one.
Iran.
Persian is another one.
Yeah.
Then I've got Lebanese, and then I've got Turkish, and like it definitely. I mean, I don't know. Like, do you keep a crate that's called Turkish, one that's called Iraq, Iran? Like, how do you break up the different? Because the Middle East is a good example of where music
subfolders or subcrates within.
I do it by country. I don't have like Turkish rap music, Turkish rock music. I just have a folder with Turkish because I don't play Turkish or Israeli or Russian or any of these nationalities on a regular basis. So I just have a folder with music that are of artists of that country, and then obviously with my computer program it says how many times I played that. So I tend to stick with the top ones, but sometimes I come along, oh, you probably haven't got this, you can find it on YouTube. I say hit me with it, and I'm yeah, I've got that. And they're like, how have you got that? When you do things enough times, you build up. The whole point of being a DJ, you build up your catalog, and you have music there that you may never play. You could play once every 3 years, but that one time after 3 years, the second time that you played it after 3 years, that person is so amazed that you've actually got this song.
Yeah, right. Get the right songs, though. I think that's so important. I don't think it would do anybody any good to just check today's charts and assume that's what you should have. It's the right songs.
Those songs will fade. You need the classics. Like I did a Brazilian wedding, I guess the last year, and they wanted a couple of Brazilian dance, a couple of Brazilian slow dance. I asked if they could provide it, so she gave me a flash drive, and I asked, "Do you mind if I copy this?" So in my Brazilian folder is the name of the wedding party with the 3 subfolders. This is dancey stuff. This is slow dancey stuff. And now if I wind up in that same situation, I have a pathway to go back and find. I don't have to listen to 20 songs to find the ballad. I'll get
like
it in a folder.
soca and stuff like that.
They have a lot of different stuff. They have some classical, which would really surprise you. It doesn't sound modern at all, but they all vibe to it. And it was just, it wouldn't be something I'd go out and hunt down on my own, but if it falls across my lap, it's tough when stuff doesn't know the languages. I mean, you can only go by the beat. You're like, here, we listen to a song we don't know, like, it's catchy. Is it popular? And they're like, oh, no, it was overplayed. We hate that one. It's like, well, we don't know that. We don't know the backstory.
Yeah.
Oh, this is this one. Oh, we love this. They even play it every hour on the radio. And I better, put a little mark on that. Like, this is popular. And, when did this come out? 1972. Like,
we kind of get made fun of. I think DJs in general kind of get made fun of for like, Latin weddings. Oh, of course you have Suavemente. Don't play Suavemente.
Cruz,
play Suavemente. Because that's the big song.
Unless they tell you not to, right?
But every jerk off DJ say don't play that.
Yeah, but they try it and they realize
that's like
I get white people up.
Don't put Macarena.
Yeah,
it's like that's the same thing. Like you expect from others, just please don't play Suavemente because we hear it at every wedding we go to.
Yeah, but it's crossed over at least out here, John. Like
it has crossed over here too.
Like I get white people coming out to Suavemente.
Yes,
I get Latins.
I get them requesting
that's their thing.
Played a ton of that when I got that on X Mix. That was what 97, 98 when that dropped or something about there.
Something 98. Like that. There's 10 tracks I have to have at every wedding that are Latin.
Yeah.
And then I've got probably 30 cumbias that I can do a solid hour of cumbia because where I am in Southern California, people of Mexican heritage, cumbia is their jam. Then I've got banda. Then I've got a thing called corridos. Corridos are the songs that sound like folk music, but the lyrics, and I hope JC can jump in here.
He is jumping.
Corridos.
He just did.
He's giving us a substitute for the one we were just talking about, Crespo. He gave us another name of the song.
Yeah, you guys do it.
Play Tu Sonrisa instead.
Are bad because they're about drug dealers getting.
Yeah, that's another show. Okay, so I just want to be crystal clear here. What I'm talking about and the concept I'm suggesting that maybe us as DJs should think about. I'm not talking about putting together an evening for your Pakistani friends, or like if I'm doing the club and I got this certain, whatever vibe going, general vibe going, and somebody comes in, from Brazil, I'm not going to turn this into a night in Rio. That's not what I'm talking about doing.
Right.
I'm talking about just having a few good bangers.
Yeah.
Just so people can be recognized and they think, hey, I'm seen here.
Right.
Give them a little something. Yeah.
Give them a little something.
little
Not
something.
a night of, but a little something.
Yeah.
I don't have much,
Keeping those
but
things
I
on
have
hand
something for
in
you.
a crate or a folder. Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
it's
sense.
essential.
Yeah,
Brian, I wish we knew someone that worked at like not a record label, but maybe a music distributorship.
Oh, a service.
A record pool,
Or
you
a
mean?
service, yeah, or like a pool
Yes.
that we
Like
could
a-
say to them, it would be really cool if you put out like one or two 20, 30 track, I'll call them a CD,
International
just
discs.
something to call them,
Yeah.
as of international, where you've got 3 or 4 songs that would really do well with someone from this continent and this country and this area, just so maybe we'd be better versed, as you're saying, because you're 100% spot on with your comment about being prepared. Because let me tell you, like food, music is the other thing that people are just so driven to and so associated with, that if you can hit them with their song and their artist, you win them forever.
It's a little tough.
They come to your house and it's like, oh, you're Puerto Rican? Oh, I've got this arroz con pollo with this like pigeon, peas and rice and this and that. They're like, oh my God, this is so my food. Well, guess what? If there's an artist like Fat Joe and you can play Lean Back and like Boricua and this and that, whatever it is, it's what people always feel gracious about. And they really are touched at a wedding or a corporate event or anything. Yeah, we just, we're from Ireland and you play an Irish song.
Well, that's why I'm thinking
with.
in the wedding world, I've had these things, and it's usually requested by the client, where they'll say, hey, we have people coming from here or people from there, and do you have this? Or you need to have, this music from this region or whatever the case might be. And you do, but I think it would be difficult to walk into just a wedding and all of a sudden, turn it into, a Bhangra party. Because that's not, because they had a guest there who was from New Delhi. You don't want to do that.
No.
But in like the club, same thing, But
No, you want to.
but I'm thinking to myself, as someone who's trying to build on something with this club right now, these people are from the Punjabi region, but they live here. And they're looking for a place to go out. And if I'm willing to play 2 or 3 cool, songs, then they're going to tell their friends, hey, this guy,
Yeah.
he will play something for you.
Careful with that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to hit the brakes on it. Run it all night. You got to hit the
Right.
brakes. Like,
If I do it all night, then
That's a problem.
it becomes a Serbian
Brian, you
disco in
mentioned
3 weeks or whatever. It's just or a Greek club or something. It's not what I want. But
No.
Right.
I was going to say, Brian, you mentioned Punjabi MC, and actually the wedding, it was towards the end of the season last year, and the wedding party had friends of the bride and groom and their parents turned up, which were Indian.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I'm going to play that, but I didn't want them to, I didn't know if they were going to, how well it was going to go down. I didn't want to feel that they suddenly became the centre of attention. And I discovered then it mixed really well with Sean Paul Get Busy.
yeah.
So I'm playing Sean Paul Get Busy,
Yes.
and then I just started like little drips, and then people
Right.
were like, oh, hang on, I know what's coming, and then I dropped it straight in, and they all went crazy, and the kids, the bride and groom, sorry, not the kids, the friends of the bride and groom, not their parents, started going like it's the whole sort of like, they're changing the light bulb,
Right. Screw
and,
the light bulbs.
and everybody just like for 3 minutes it turned into a crazy Bhangra party, and then I just went it back. But
And then
it's
you go
because
back.
I mixed
Yeah.
it. They didn't feel like, oh my God, I'm the Indian person here. I have to do something Indian,
I did. I did Mundian Tubaki, and it's got that beat on it from, I guess, it's Knight Rider.
Yeah.
I looped that for like 3 minutes at the end, and I mixed in Staying Alive Bee Gees and turned Staying Alive into a Bhangra song. It was hilarious. And they loved it. They thought it was the coolest thing in the world. It worked.
Now, I have to interject here just for a moment, because I was fortunate enough to be on a venue that's now closed. And of the 6 DJs that were there, the owner would always say to clients, oh, yeah, check out all 6. I can't recommend one over the other. Unless they said, yeah, we're coming Arabic and a white wedding. And he would then say, start with Jay, because Jay can mix different genres. And it probably happened 10 times. Yeah, we're getting married at this place. We understand you're good at mixing different genres. I'm like, what are you looking for? Well, we're looking for Chaldean, Persian, Arabic, whatever you want to say. And I would say to them, do me a favor, send me 3 songs, like links to YouTube, whatever. And they would send the links and I would listen to them. And then I would rip them into Serato. And I would send them back 3 mixes. So one track would be 105 and I would suddenly mix it with Usher. And one track would be like 115 and I'd mix it with Michael Jackson. And they would be thrilled, because my vision, as I said to them, was I don't want to send, 90% of the crowd is white.
Right.
I don't want them to
scare the hell out of them.
So I wanted to be a back and forth. And they'd be like, oh, you're hired. And the point of the story is, the last big one I did, they sent me all these songs. And I said, just do me a favor. You're going to send me 20 songs. Put cocktail, dinner, dancing in the name of the song somehow. And they did. So I get the files. I'm at home. I take the files. I download them to my computer. I put them on my hard drive. I'm in Serato and I can see, fast dance, dancing, slower, cocktail, and all that. And I shut the computer down and I go to the gig and I open my laptop. Well, guess what? In moving my hard drive from the computer that had the email base to a hard drive to a new laptop with a different OS, meaning Windows to Mac, what they typed in was not the actual ID3 tags. So what I got was actual Arabic on every song.
I've gotten some of those too.
So it was squiggle, squiggle, line, squiggle, dot.
That's when you DJ by ear.
And I went to the groom and he's like, hey, so thank you so much. We loved what you did. We're so excited. I go, and I open up their folder in Serato and I go, hey, just real quick. You didn't actually rename the songs, did you? You just added the comment. He goes, yeah. Okay. And I turn the computer and he goes, what's that? I go, apparently it's Arabic. He goes, I can't read Arabic.
Neither can I.
Neither can I.
Well, it's just squiggle, squiggle, dot, line, squiggle. Like, can you help me out? And he literally goes, hold on, let me get the best man. The best man rolls over, this 5'2" guy with an attitude like he was 6'10". He's like, what's going on? What's going on? And he tells me, he's like, okay, slow, fast, slow, fast, whatever.
Right.
But I just remember laughing inside, like, this is what it comes down to. Like, modern technology allows him to speak to me through different channels. But the reality is it's squiggle, squiggle, dot, dot, line. I don't know what the hell it says.
It sounds like the cootie shot.
It's funny.
Circle, dot, dot.
It's still on my hard drive today. I did.
I have those too.
5 years ago. And I'm like, I have no clue what these tracks are. But if I get to those events, I can at least go to the squiggle tracks and be like, here, listen to this. How's this?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay, this one's fast. Let's do this one. Okay, yeah.
Well, I mean, but, I think Alex is probably our expert on this topic. They're all fast. There are no, at least the ones I get, there are no slow.
There's some real sappy ones.
Oh, I'm sure there are. But the majority of ones I get.
When they start yodeling.
Oh, no, I didn't get to that. Well, even those I got. Yeah. Those are the ones where I got scared that there was going to be like a Toyota Sequoia with the roof cut off and a machine gun.
As soon as I hear a guy like hold a vowel for like a minute and 30 seconds, I'm like, you know what? I got nothing here.
Let's go either way. You can play those at 80 BPM or 160. Either way, whichever way you want to drive it.
Yeah, maybe you can play it, Shazam it, and rename it. Unless Shazam comes back with the Arabic tune.
Yeah, I think they would have come back with squiggle, swiggle, dot,
I think I already know. I already know it's called squiggle, swiggle.
By squiggle, swiggle, dot, dot.
But it was the funniest thing was here's the groom who speaks Arabic, and it's like all about it.
Yeah.
It's just like, I can't read that. I'm like, dude, it's in Arabic. He goes, I know, but I can speak it. I can't read it. I'm like,
I'll call an anthropologist to read Sanskrit to decode my MP3
like, somebody get me a hammer and like a chisel. I got to make a tablet all of a sudden.
I need Indiana Jones up in here.
Yeah, really.
I did a wedding where the groom was Egyptian, the bride was Mauritian, so it's English, Mauritian, and Egyptian music. They gave me
what's Mauritian?
15 songs Mauritian, 15 songs Egyptian, and so basically I was backwards and forwards going, I'm playing the Mauritian song, so now I've got to try and find a Egyptian song of the same tempo, and then I've got to play an English song. That way, I'm not being biased to any nationality whatsoever. And keeping it nice and
Egyptian on repeat.
Alex, what is Mauritian?
From Mauritius?
No. Where is Mauritius?
It's in.
I don't know this term. I'm sorry. Maybe you guys all do, but I don't know what Mauritian is.
Mauritius is a country.
It's like East Africa.
Yeah, it's like Golden Coast, is it?
Oh, okay.
I'm not very good.
I've ever heard that term. I mean, this speaks to Brian's topic. I don't even know every country. What's there? 161 countries.
But basically, I just took all the songs and was looking at the beats, and I was just beat matching with songs I had no idea what they're saying in Egyptian, with songs I have no idea what they're saying in Mauritian, with songs obviously I know what they're saying because it's in English, and just making sure it's an even spread. And at the end of the night, they were like, "Oh, we really loved it. I loved the way you just kept it mixing it. You just kept mixing it up." And I was like, "Yeah, because I didn't want anybody to be offended. I didn't want to think anybody."
Poor guy.
Get hung.
Didn't want to start an international riot on this. You know?
By the way, John Colley the whole time is just thinking, just play some Dropkick Murphys and stuff.
Yes.
There'll be at least one Irish person here. Come on.
Yeah.
Be one.
Always like,
always one.
I would have played Personality Disorder by the Dolls, and everyone would have been happy.
You know, I think my first thought was, to have like, I don't know, 6 to 12. But you know what? Now that I'm rethinking this, if we have these folders and if we pick only the bangers, maybe we only need 3 or 4.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
You're not. There's going to be some exceptions to that rule. So, of course, if you're trying to do anything Latin, you're going to want a little more.
Right.
But I think when we're talking about some of these other countries, so we don't want to turn the evening into an evening of Serbian music. We keep it short. We see you. We're glad you're here. But this
I think it's a back and forth, like you say. It's a couple few. I mean, shout out to our boy that we all know, Naveen.
Right.
I've reached out to Naveen on many occasions when I've had an Indian wedding and said, "Here's the wedding. Here's the age. Here's where they're from. Oh, do Bollywood or don't do Bollywood.
Right.
Do this."
And it's funny,
and it's been a great help. And my Latin stuff, I mean, trust me, Johnny White Irish Catholic over here, but I can throw down at a Mexican wedding all day long in Southern California.
Sure.
Texas, I don't know if I could. That's Tejano. That's a different vibe.
Well, I don't think you got to be on the nose, as much on the nose as you think. And
that could be.
Example. The music that I played for this group, they were Punjabi. Just so you know, it's a region. Part of it's Pakistan, part of it's India. Like mountains, right? So it's not Indian, it's not Pakistan, it's kind of that area. And it's Western India, Eastern Pakistan, I think, roughly.
I think you're right.
So Nepal is on the other side of India. And India is big, okay? It's a completely different place. The music translates.
Continent.
The music translates well. So if you've got somebody from Nepal, you can play Punjabi. If you've got somebody Punjabi, you can play something Nepal, and they're going to get it. So I don't know that we have to be so on the nose when it comes to just trying to, have a little something, which I think is key. But
well, it's like
just an opinion and thoughts on it.
Let's make it a white thing. Let's say I go to a wedding or an event where you're the DJ, and I'm like, I walk up and go, "Hey, man, I like hard rock." Well, guess what? I can think of about 10,000 bands that are considered hard rock. Versus, hey, man, and this sounds so easy to most DJs, but when you really think about it, hey, dude, how about some classic rock? Well, in today's times, what's considered classic rock? Anything 25 years or older? I mean, that palette is huge.
I mean, I'm just thinking to myself, if I walked into some kind of vegan restaurant in, I don't know,
don't play animals,
like Jakarta or something, some country that I, whatever. And they're like, "Oh, you're not eating." No, you know what? I'm just not a vegan. Well, do you want a hot dog? I'm like, yeah, I want a hot dog. That'd be awesome.
Right, exactly.
It's not my favorite food, but you know what? I'm so happy to have a hot dog right now.
But they're recognizing and respecting who you are and what your wishes are.
I don't need to have a ribeye about this. A hot dog is fine. Thank you so much.
If you know somebody likes Christian music, like I used all the weddings I did, we had a Christian coordinator, and I would get these weddings where cocktail would be a little more upbeat, and I would play a band called Switchfoot from Escondido, California, or Encinitas, and I mean they're a 20,000 seat band for selling tickets.
Amazing live too.
Float. Here they are, but they're a Christian rock band. But yet 99% of their fans don't know that about them.
Yeah.
It's sort of like
they're not preachy.
The Kids.
Yeah.
I think this is a great idea, but it would also, for example, with you guys in the States, obviously you have a big South American, in Texas and along the borderline and in interaction. So you guys would need just as much, South American music as maybe a DJ in the UK would need Punjabi music, because obviously in the UK, I don't mean to sound racial or whatever, but obviously, there's a large community of
you did conquer them
people, as there is in many places in the States. So that kind of like you could say, well, you may need like a list of 30 songs. Well, we need, but you only need 10 Punjabi, Indian, etc. But here in the UK, we need that flipped, and we want 30 of that, but only 10 of that.
I don't know if Googling charts is the way to go, because Eric was asking how will we determine the bangers, which is a really good question. I think it's a good way to wrap the show. It's funny because I know Mundian Tubaki is a banger just because it's a banger. I would play it for any crowd. And I've never had anyone Punjabi, from Nepal, Indian, request it. Never. But when I play it, they're surprised and they love it. So maybe the best way to determine the real bangers is to find the DJs who specialize in this kind of music and find out.
Good idea.
Right.
Phone a friend. Yeah.
Phone a friend.
I mean, John, I can play the Standells' Dirty Water. That song came out in like 66.
Yeah.
I play that from somebody who's 12 or 15 or 30 or 80 from Boston. They get it.
They heard it at the Red Sox game the other night.
Right.
Yeah, because they played it over the PA. It's never gone away.
So there are songs, like you say, Brian, where you just know this song transcends generations.
Yeah.
But stays within that realm.
It's so them. I mean, you're seeing them with the song. And of course, Desi Girl is a great tune. And there's also like J-Ho from Slumdog Millionaire that they love. I mean, there's stuff that's good that you can play that's not like completely from, outer space.
No.
And it doesn't have a few of those.
By the way, tying in with your album, Alex, since you're a citizen of the UK, correct? You're a British citizen, yes?
I'm an expatriate, as they say.
Expat. Okay, but I want to say congratulations now. You have a new king.
Yes.
Formerly known as
Long live
Prince.
the king.
No. But if I'm not mistaken, formerly known as Prince.
Yeah, the artist formerly known as Prince. Yeah.
Formerly known as Prince.
I just wanted to work that in, Brian. I'm not going to get many chances on this one.
That's a once in a lifetime. We won't see another.
Known as Prince. Just saying.
Well, I heard after the coronation they did party like it was 1999. You know,
That's what I heard.
Back in those days.
Yeah.
So if I was to play Bob's Country Bunker, I'd only need two types of music, right?
Country and Western.
Country and Western.
Country and Western.
Yes. Yes.
In the interest of keeping the show to roughly an hour, we should probably wrap it.
Alrighty.
Say hi to our sponsors.
Say hi to our sponsors.
Hi, sponsors.
DJ and TV Event Planner.
DJEventPlanner.com. Say hi to them. They sponsored the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So that's it, guys.
A great place to play.